News Talk 1090 WKBZ is available everywhere you want to listen on our free iHeartRadio app. Download it now.
Now, back to Talkin' Muskegon on News Talk 1090 WKBZ, the talk of Muskegon.
And it's currently 62 degrees along the lakeshore, 38 minutes past the hour, and got a lively discussion going on about port authorities in Muskegon. We've got Max McKee with us.
Let me just jump in here. We do have Max McKee from the Mart Dock in here. But there's a reason that you kind of contacted us and said, hey, I'd like to get on as soon as possible, because this bill that has already passed the House of Representatives, or the House in the state of Michigan, has really been came out of nowhere and has been rushed through. It is halfway to being law and will create, in addition to a permanent industrial site on Muskegon Lake, but it will create this port authority, which it will come to that in a moment, but it has the ability to, without a millage, to raise taxes, to borrow, and to hire people. What could possibly go wrong with an unelected body that can do that without the approval of the citizens? But the reason it's important to have a conversation about this is this may be pushed through. There is an election, as we all know, coming up in just a couple months, and certain folks seem to think that if they have a bill and it pretends or portends that it will be good for, in this case, Muskegon, that might help in their election cycle. But for every possible good, there typically are some downs, and we want to look at those downs so that maybe we would have a conversation with those who will be voting on it, which would be the senators, Jeff Hansen and others coming down the road. So that's why it's important. It's been rushed through. Very few people know about this. Certainly the folks who care about the Muskegon Lake, there have been discussions, what might be done there? I mean, could there be condos, hotels, a park? Who knows? Those people seem to have been absolutely shut out, it would seem to me, in the hope that this can get blasted through, can get funded, because it's going to have to get some money, and then the door will be locked. Then the deal with the basically the state legislature and consumers' power. Because remember, the money's going to go to consumers' power. They own the land. They're trying to get out of it. They've got docks that need lots of moolah to make them up to date. So anyway, we have a little time running out.
I think I saw the light going on when Corey's hearing about this for the first time.
Yes, I am hearing about this for the first time. I'm kind of actually shocked. Yeah. And I think we need to have a community conversation about this. If it's being pushed through, we're in an election cycle. Elections are just around the corner. Right. For this to be pushed through so fast without knowing what the pros and cons of this major port authority is crazy.
Well,
I want to be informed.
And
exactly.
I need to be
Corey,
informed.
You're the next generation coming up in this community.
Yes.
I mean, we're the old guys in this community, and we're speaking out about this right now. That scares the living daylights out of me that we have another unit of government that's created on paper in the legislature that has taxing authority. I mean, that just scares the living daylights out of me.
And borrowing authority, even worse in many cases.
You know, and in an area that I spend my whole life here, and I've driven across that causeway and actually drive across it at least twice a day right now, and knowing what that land could be down there, and an industrial site with that kind of traffic going in and out of there, especially the road traffic going in and out of there right now is not real pleasant, because they're still dumping some fly ash and things, or they were, across the street on the causeway. But it'll add a significant amount of road traffic to the spider web and that interchange and the causeway area out there. And those roads are not built to handle that. It's built on a swamp over there.
John, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to build it, and nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen. But even if they did, Max, if they tried to move a lot of aggregate down there, which there is some down there now.
Correct.
And if those roads, I mean, you know that, Max, you grew up here as well, and you know that these roads around here are built on top of sawdust from the lumbering era, then foundry fill, and they're built on, and that's all on top of a swamp. And so every 2 or 3 years, you got to redo Shoreline Drive because it sinks.
Yeah,
and you start putting a lot more traffic on those roads, and it's going to cost the taxpayers a lot of money going down.
So even if they achieve what I think anyone who looks at this closely would say that their goal is unachievable because they would have to fill up already empty slips that are available and then create new business, and there doesn't seem to be any real plan to create the new business. This looks to me like basically like a way to help consumers' energy out of a bit of a problem because, of course, they've got environmental issues in terms of cleanup. They've got docks that they probably haven't done the maintenance on since they've known for years that they're going to be shutting them down. This is something that, Corey, I think you hit the nail on the head. We need a community conversation about this. This cannot be rushed through because once this is codified, once and empowered. Remember, when you create these authorities, you empower them. You give them actually some invincibility in some ways.
Right.
And this dock, which is and there's another side to it also, which is a direct competitor to these businesses that have been here for decades. But this set of docks, if expanded, fully funded by the feds, not the feds, the various governmental bodies, will be there till long after you, Corey, are gone.
Yeah.
Is that what we want on our lake?
No. Well, I'm speaking for myself.
Well, maybe we want to have that conversation. Some people don't want that.
But in talking about rebuilding the dock, that dock was poorly constructed. Its estimates are about $15 million to rebuild that dock.
Well, that's nothing.
If that's what they want to do. It'll be with
that.
taxpayer money, and it will obviously threaten the existing businesses. And marinas ought to be afraid, too, because what they can do is build with what is termed a public-private partnership. They can take taxpayer money and build a marina. And by the way, the definition of port facility in this bill has nothing to do with water. It can be 30 miles inland at a farm. If it has a silo or a warehouse, that county or that city, oh yeah, John's looking surprised.
Really?
Yes, yeah. John. And that's the dirty little secret. The definition of a port facility is outside of a port. It can be any piece of property. So think about it. The city or the county can establish a port authority. The port authority then can go into a private-public partnership, tax money, and create a business, a different business. If they don't like a business where it's located or what they're doing, they can create a separate business in the middle of the state or on the water or a marina. If they don't like you, instead of eminent domain, which this doesn't allow, they've got something better. They've got the ability to take taxpayer money and build something that's a duplicate of what's already there. And then what would that do? That would squeeze out the business that was existing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so it's taking without even compensation. It's worse than eminent domain.
I know we got a break coming up, but I want to just read. This is a comment that Representative Holly Hughes had given to M Live. The quote is right here. He said, "We feel this is the best economic tool in 30 years." Now, I was quite unclear as to what the tool was until what you had just said. It allows government to come in and basically create stuff, fully governmental funded.
So this isn't just specifically to Muskegon.
No, this is statewide issue. It's a statewide issue. That's why I'm shocked that it's not out there. It's a statewide issue. This is a statewide bill.
And this
now, the guys in Saginaw are aware of it. They just became aware of it, and they're up in arms about it.
Now, when you say the guys, you mean the port owners and others.
In Saginaw,
and this
correct.
particular tool, as I see it, is, if it's the best tool that we've seen in 30 years, will not be just set here by rushing through here in. Remember, this is a bill just to be used for the port of Muskegon. It will, in fact, be utilized. Given the enthusiasm going forward. We got a break coming up.
Yeah, now we got one more break to take in. We'll probably have a little bit of off-air discussion here, which we don't have any web cameras or anything like that. Once I turn these microphones off, you got to listen to the commercials. You can't hear what we're doing behind the scenes. But we're going to be back after these messages.